Hello everyone and welcome back to another Mara stock chart planning update video. This video is going to be very important because I'm going to go over, and I'm doing this ahead of time, but I am going to go over my expectations on the Federal Reserve interest rate cut that's going to happen later this month and why. So I think it's after next month, on September 18th, and why we're going to potentially see some sell-offs, in my opinion, when that happens, right? And this is going to be very important because I don't want people to be too optimistic jumping into this. And yeah, Bitcoin did dip recently, and it's at a really good valuation, in my opinion. And I'm taking advantage of that by adding um, a good amount of funds into my BITU position. So I believe it's a really good time to buy BITU. So if you guys want to see uh, where my buy is at, how much actually I'm putting into it, I'm just going to share that with my Discord community. It's free to join. You guys can join and see it there. Um, so I'm going to share that in there. But it's looking real good. So I'm not nervous, and I'm very confident to add a large amount to it. Um, but yeah. So everything I'm saying in this video is just my own personal opinion. It is not financial advice. It's just a way for me to express my own personal, non-professional view on the assets we're going to be covering today, right? So to get started, quite simply, in many, pretty much every video I cover Mara in, I always tell everyone, yeah, we saw a quick push into the green area, but it was short-lived. It was very shallow. We couldn't hold it. So until we hold this area, I'm not really looking for upside. I'm looking for a potential retest of the red. And now, since um, we are finally back into the red, see, that's why it's very important to be patient and very important to two things. Uh, let's So this gap is like my patience area. Like I don't do anything in this gap because that's where, in my opinion, this is where price is trying to decide where it's going to go. And if it's going to have a retest, which is the second part of what I was trying to say, it's having a retest of previous support. So this is where I'm looking to start accumulating again, right? So if you guys have been watching for a while, you know that the red area is my accumulation area. And then I have three levels of confirmation ranging from the green, the gap between the green and all-time high, and then the final um, wave high somewhere in this blue area, right? So if you guys are following, you know all about that. I'm not going to really repeat myself too much with that, but we finally know that with this retest of the accumulation area, it's a really good time for me to begin accumulating additional shares. This is where I am looking to begin accumulating. And to back that up, we have, and I'm going to get into the interest rate cut stuff in a moment. And I'm not trying to be bearish. I have a very bullish outlook on Bitcoin, Mara, MicroStrategy, uh, of course the Bitcoin ETFs because they track. So I still have a very positive outlook on Bitcoin. Like I'm still expecting Bitcoin to be like at $100,000 by the end of the year. So it's like just almost 4 months away. And then eventually, sometime in 2025, we'll see even higher highs as we near the top of the bull market, right? Um, so I just want to make that very clear. But understanding that Bitcoin. So if you guys looked at my last update video, I break down how I got this rectangle area, which is a support area. So if you guys want to know how I got this, just look at the last video. I explain it there. It's on the thumbnail to this picture. Just you can see it. So I was able to get this accumulation area or this support area as well, which also aligns very nicely with the support around the 0.35 and also similar to the previous swing low where it had a similar support area as well, right? So I'm just trying to keep it simple. It's quite simple, right? We're in a Bitcoin crypto bull market, right? And we've been in this support or this corrective move for a very long time now, many months, right? And it's about time. It's I believe it's 4 to 8 months according to, if you guys know Plan B Bitcoin, he's on YouTube and on Twitter. He likes to talk about Bitcoin Bitcoin miners revenue recovering after a halving event. That's what also helps Bitcoin price go up. And it's about time Bitcoin mining revenue also begins to recover, even though they recently had um, some bad reports where I think mining revenue dropped like 10% or something like that. It's going to start recovering as Bitcoin also, finally confirms this bottom to be in by making new higher highs within this smaller structure right here. That's just one factor, but we are very discounted. If you were to take the entire, this is just a little bit of a little bit of so we're just gonna get the halfway point, which is just a 0.5 around 61.8, right? So 61.8, 61.8. I'm gonna show you guys something real quick. Let's just consider this to be the discount in the premium half, right? From the beginning of the corrective move to the bottom of the corrective move, this is the halfway point. So we are very much in the discounted area. So we can easily see price push up anytime soon back into the premium area. I'm not saying we're going to start seeing it push back up and make new all-time highs right away, but I am seeing that we do, or very clearly, unless prices break lower and confirm a lower low, indicating that we're going to have a little bit more of a downtrend going. As of right now, as long as Bitcoin price goes or holds. So right now, if you guys zoom in, it might be hard to see because I like to use blue and white candles. It's my theme color. But as you can see, prices are still holding in the green area, right? And this is bullish as long as we hold in the green area and especially continue to hold in the support area, which is in the rectangle. This opens up the path for, and actually I might change the color to make it a little bit more noticeable. Yeah, I like that. So we want to hold this area, meaning that bullish momentum is building. There's buyers flowing in, and the sellers are strong enough to push the crypto lower, and then we can finally start seeing the price come back up, and finally start retesting this previous swing high. Right, as long as we don't break and hold below the bottom of this rectangle, and then how that correlates with Mara is, of course, we're in a similar situation where the previous swing low is acting as the rectangle support, and then, but regardless, even if it does go lower, we still have the rest of these support areas to look at. This whole entire red area is my accumulation area, so I don't care if it goes lower. Let me move it more to the right now. I don't care if it goes lower because it all falls into my plan, which is accumulation area is an accumulation area, even if it goes to the bottom of it. And then stop losses will be below that. But yeah, I'm fine picking up in this area and then looking to begin slowly shaving off around the first level confirmation, which is the green area right here. That's just how I'm looking at it. Anything in between, I'm not doing anything. This gap, I'm not doing anything because this is where price decides where it wants to go. But we are in a good place to begin accumulating, not just because it's an accumulation area, but because Bitcoin is going to begin to move higher. I don't believe it has much downside. I don't believe it's gonna. It can definitely hold in these around. It can definitely hold around $57,000 to $60,000 for the rest of the month. That is very, very possible, or at least until interest rate cuts, because there's a lot of hesitation. There's a lot of excuse me. Like uncertainty on what's going to happen. And here's my quick and this is going to be my same opinion for pretty much every stock out there as a growth stock. So like tech based, crypto based, and cryptos itself. But it's believed, right? And everyone says this, and like I agree, and I agree 100% because it's true. When interest rates get cut, that means the government can print more money, right? And if they print more money, that causes inflation, which of course also causes asset inflation. So we're going to eventually see these prices a lot of the prices we're looking at, they're going to be forced higher on Bitcoin, Mara, all that. They're all going to be pushed higher forcefully, right? As time goes on, because that's asset inflation in a low interest rate environment. But right away, like within the first week or two, potentially this can last the entire second half of September. So let me be a little bit more accurate real quick on that. So I believe September 18th on a Wednesday is when they're going to cut rates for the first time, I believe, rather than 0.25 or 0.5. It's not a massive cut technically because it's not a massive cut. There's still a lot more cuts to be expected. But I want to be very, very realistic and very clear with you guys. For that last like week and a half, almost 2 weeks of September, we could potentially see suppressed prices, a lot of like selling going on. And here's why. Here's why I believe I'm going to be shorting interest rate announcements for the entire like second half of September, at least second half right after the the rate cut, right? The first one. And here's why I may be doing that, right? Yeah, interest rate cuts do cause inflation to eventually occur, right? Begin occurring. But here's the thing: it makes the dollar, the U.S. dollar, and I'm just talking in the U.S. I believe today, maybe Canada cut their first interest rate. I believe I haven't checked, but either way, the dollar is going to be easier to borrow against, right? So look at Japan. Japan was like, dang, their interest rates were basically at zero, or they were at zero, or like basically at zero, and a lot of countries in the U.S. government were borrowing from them because it was so easy. It was basically free to borrow money from them, because you barely had to pay any interest. But now, since Japan is starting to raise interest rates, um, that's what's influencing a lot of these sell-offs in the broader market too, because now there is debt going on. Now a lot of this money that they're borrowing is, it's being, you know, interest is being slapped onto that stuff like real, every here and there, right? So what I'm trying to say with that, and excuse my terrible vocabulary, but I keep getting stuck. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Right now it's very, very hard to borrow money. So a lot of people and a lot of companies are trying to shy away from that, and instead they're like trying to raise money another way by selling more stock or liquidating assets, right? But now, since interest rates are going to be cut and it's going to be a little bit easier, a little cheaper to borrow USD, um, then we could potentially see assets fall short term for like a week or two after the interest rate cuts because, more attention is going to be going towards the US dollar instead of assets. So that's why I'm expecting a quick short term, like super short term dip, uh, which I'm going to, short, but then I'm also looking to accumulate as the dip moves down. So I'll be shorting the dip, but at the same time I'll be buying it, um, like different portfolios, because I really want to take advantage of that. I believe that's something that will happen. I'll document. I'll keep you guys updated on that because I understand it's a very like complicated thing for a lot of people. So I want to document my. If I do it, I'll document it, and for sure the Discord server is gonna. You guys in the Discord are gonna know everything I do pretty much step by step because I'm gonna definitely document it on there a bit better than I'm gonna do it on YouTube. But yeah, guys. But yeah, interest rate cuts, short term sell off, and then it'll be a nice recovery and new highs being made as time goes on and as a little bit more rates get cut throughout the future, right? But the first one, for sure, I'm expecting a sell off right afterwards because more attention is going to go towards the dollar. And again, it's going to be a lot easier to borrow, a little bit easier because it's going to be the first rate cut. And it'll get much easier over time, but it's going to be a little bit easier. So um, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more favor towards the dollar than assets, at least in that short term, right? For a little bit of a corrective speculation. But yeah, hopefully that made sense. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and take care.